Hello everyone, my name is Carlos Caicedo. I am a director at the Orthobond Corporation. We make materials, antimicrobial and antiviral. Today, I will just show you a little bit about what we do. To better understand the change in surface properties, let's look at this surface here. So this surface could be a piece of metal or a plastic, and when bacteria falls on it by somebody sneezing or touching the surface, it could be a virus, could be a bacteria. When they land on the surface, over time they made a film on top of that surface. So now that's what we call a contaminated surface. So when we change the surface, in this case I'm going to draw this in a way that I'm gonna define this as a sort of bed of nails here. When bacteria fall on it, they pop like balloons. So when they pop like balloons, they're not able to make that film I described here. Therefore, this surface now is what they call clean. And once it's put inside the body or somebody else touches it again, it will not have or support the growth of bacteria or viruses. As I mentioned before, we play with the surface properties of materials. And the best way to explain what I mean by changing the surface properties is by showing you how this piece of metal, titanium, can hold a certain volume of water, whether is if a little bit of grease is on it, and whether we clean it extensively, just to see how water behaves with those surfaces. So we have taken this piece of titanium and we place it right here, and I'm gonna add a certain volume of water, just so you can appreciate what the effect of the surface, whether it has grease in this case, has on the water. As you can see, you see this little bubble forming on the surface and moving out and about. So while we wait for the second piece to come out of the plasma machine, in which we're going to remove all those oils, and now the water is going to like it even more, meaning that the initial bubble that we see is not going to be there. Now the water is going to spread evenly on the surface, not as before when the oil was present on it. So we have changed the surface properties of that material. And I put it inside of a plasma chamber. So what the plasma changer is doing is cleaning that surface and changing it so it doesn't have any more grease. Plasma is a type of substance that you see in all the bright stars in the sky. So you can say that what you're seeing here is a little piece of a star. Very amazing. And we're back. Now, this piece of metal has been cleaned with the plasma machine. And what we're gonna do is, what you're gonna notice is, as soon as the water gets dispensed on it, you will see a different behavior as what the one you saw before. You notice how is that happening? So with that little demonstration, we show that we can change the surface properties of materials. And by doing that kind of change, in this case, the water was able to spread because now we changed the property of the surface to be more hydrophilic. It loves the water, as opposed to full of grease, which is water-fearing or hydrophobic. With those changes, we can control the material properties. In the same way, we can change a material property to kill viruses and bacteria. And I hope you have enjoyed this little demonstration. And when you get home, with the help of your parents, maybe you can find a way to change the surface properties of materials. The COVID-19 pandemic brought a lot of changes to all families. in our family, we have kept positive and with a good outlook towards the future. And also we kept busy trying many experiments with my kids. Enjoy.
Look at the camera.
On our first experiment that we already did, we were seeing what if it made a gas with baking soda and apple cider vinegar, and it made a gas because this was closed. If it was open, you wouldn't see it. You wouldn't really hardly recognize it. But when it's closed, you can feel it, and that's how there's a gas.
Nice.
The experiment we did now is called oobleck, is where you take cornstarch and you take a lot of it and you put it in water and you mix it up. Then what happens is that it gets hard, so it doesn't let anything pass like this. So whenever you poke your finger in really hard, it's like rock. But when you let your finger go in slowly, it just sucks it in. The cornstarch, when you punch it, it's like it's alive, and it just goes like this. So if you take this, for instance, and you drop it, it will just float. It will just float. It's just gonna hit the oobleck and just bounce off. But if you just let it sit there, it's gonna sink.
Ooh, that's nice.
At the end of the day, I like to end up with a nice run out in the fields. Just remember to stay sharp and stay active, and don't let your guard down. Have a great day, everyone.